one of the people I follow on YouTube named Spencer Smith. If you haven't had an opportunity, I would suggest you go to his channel. He posts some really good biblical videos. But today he's talking about the era of debt slave is upon us, 50-year mortgages. And he also talks a bit about 15-year car mortgages. So I'm gonna play a little bit of his video, then I'm gonna come back with my commentary. But the era of debt slave is upon us, 50-year mortgages. He also says later in this video that in Japan or China, one of them Asian countries, they have 100-year mortgages. 100-year mortgage. Can you imagine? You will never, ever, you would die a debt to slave. Then you would pass your debt on to your children. Amazing. Very unbiblical. So I'm going to play this video for a little bit, watch it, and then I'll come back with my commentary. God bless.
Again, just start off with here in this video. And the Bible says in Proverbs 22, verse number 7, the rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. Meaning this, a servant is a form of a slave, somebody who serves their lender. You go to work every day if you're in debt to pay money to these people who have loaned you money. And so, therefore, debt is a soft form of slavery. I hope you know that. And I've watched Dave Ramsey for years. I think it's time that Americans right now need to get a little bit of Ramsey in them and try to understand that this is not good. Okay, so I want to type in usury, and I want to just check that out. Let's see here. Let's see here. How do you spell that in the King James Bible? Usury. There it is. I'm going to take that word and I'm going to look it up for you. And if you understand, usury is the idea of charging some sort of crazy debt on money, or the interest made on money and debt and that kind of stuff. And if you go here, just look in the Bible, you'll find there's a lot about usury. And Proverbs 28:8, he that by usury and unjust gain increases his substance, he shall gather it for him that will pity the poor. And see, Proverbs 15:5, he that putteth not out his money to usury, nor taketh reward against the innocent, he that doeth these things shall never be moved. And so there's a lot there. It's the idea of charging people so much interest that they'll never get out of debt. And it's a crime, is what it is. At least it should be a crime. And what is happening is that America has a housing crisis. I think a lot of people have a housing crisis, but America certainly does. I know that trying to buy a house here in this area that we live in can be quite difficult, and I know that for sure. There's a lot of reasons why the American housing situation is so bad. Number one, there's probably about 30 million people in America that don't belong here and that they have overstayed their visa. They're buying homes. That's the thing. They're living in these homes. Another thing that's happening is that there are multinational corporations that are literally buying up entire neighborhoods sight unseen and paying over asking price for these things. And it's like these people have unlimited money. And it's like, who owns these houses? A lot of people have talked about BlackRock owning homes and buying up neighborhoods. We even just put a post out about that here just a minute ago. And, on Twitter, we talked about that here. So, and by the way, follow us on X. X, it's not Twitter, it's X. And just check this out. BlackRock buying entire neighborhoods before the 50-year mortgage is rolled out. There you go. That's basically what they're doing. Matter of fact, I think it was Governor Huckabee there in Arkansas, Mike Huckabee's daughter, that was making moves that foreign entities cannot own American land. And, like China was buying up thousands of acres of farmland in Arkansas, and they've just made a move to say we can't do that anymore. Okay, so that's part of the problem with American real estate is that there's foreign interest buying all these houses. I had a friend a couple of years ago in Georgia. He like listed his house for $220,000, and next thing you know, his realtor says we got an offer in for $250,000, and he said, okay, well, who is it? And she said, it's some LLC somewhere. We don't know who it is. And he said, okay, well, I guess we'll take the offer. Well, he sold his house for $250,000 to some LLC, sight unseen, and they didn't even show up to the closing. Some lawyer signed for him. And some this LLC paid some lawyer to go and buy this house, and I mean, not even. And it was. It turns out, who knows who that was? Who knows who that was? And they're doing this all over the place, and they're renting these houses out to the American people for like an insane amount of money. And so nobody can buy a house anymore because they're who's buying these homes? Okay, you got millions of illegals. You have multinational corporations buying up homes like they're candy bars. I mean, just buying the whole street. It's crazy. And then you have the interest rates that are just crazy. I don't know. There's a whole lot there, and I'm trying not to get into that too much. But um, the American government is now coming out with a 50-year loan. And now another thing they're doing as well is a 15-year car loan. This is not going to end well. The idea of putting people into perpetual debt slavery is a band aid on the real problem. The real problem is that the market's been hijacked, and this doesn't fix it. This does not fix it. Let me just let's see here. I gotta go to these things. This is driving me nuts. I am absolutely angry. I am so upset. And by the way, get your $2,000 stimulus check. There you go. Goodness gracious. Here we go. All right. Anyway, um, I'm sorry. I'm gonna take a moment to breathe. Please forgive me. Happy thoughts. How I gotta get my own going. Oh God. Unfocus my chi. I am a good man. I am strong. I got to do, I'm sorry, do my affirmations. I am powerful. People will buy my book, Handbook of Modern Heretics, and
I'll post a video in this chat, but it's amazing our government is trying to push on us 50-year home loans and 15-year car loans. Who drives a car for 15 years? And I hope I'm not being offensive to anyone. Some people may drive a car for 15 years, but the average person will not drive a car for 15 years. So yeah, you'll get a cheaper car payment, but the life of the loan, you'll pay thousands upon an item that has no appreciation value. It's robbery. In a 50-year mortgage, a 50-year mortgage, wasn't 30 years bad enough? 30-year mortgage. The system is designed for you to go find a job, work 25, 30 years for retirement, hopefully pay off your home before you retire so you won't have a mortgage payment. Then you'll go into retirement without a mortgage payment. So your debt to income ratio comes down because your income goes down in retirement. So you should be able to live off of Social Security, 401k, and who has a retirement account now? The days of having a retirement account is long gone. Nobody gives retirement for their employees. Most of us have to use a 401k that you're responsible for. And if you choose not to contribute to your 401k because you're living well beyond your means now, you're going to pay later. This old saying, pay now, pay later. Either way, you're going to pay. So if you're not paying now toward your retirement, you're going to pay later. And I made a choice a long time ago. Thank God for some wisdom He's given me and my dad. I made a choice a long time ago to live well below my means and decided I'm going to pay now and I'm going to sacrifice some things and live below my means. And I still live well. Don't get me wrong. I'm blessed. Live well. Don't need for nothing. I have all my needs met and have a lot of my desires met. But I'm not going to stretch myself to live to impress people who don't like me, to buy things that I can't afford. Think about that. Most of us buy things we can't afford to impress people who don't like you anyway. So, you know, the ultimate goal is you work 30, 40 years, retire, your home should be paid for in that 30-year mortgage, and then you go out into the sunset with low debt. However, many of us are not living the American dream anymore. Many of us are not able to pay our homes off within 30 years because we often refinance our homes. We buy homes we can't afford. We have divorces and all types of things that come up, and we never own our home. So we go to retirement, and some of us have to work to well into our 60s and 70s, and then we still don't have nothing, and then you still can't pay your mortgage, and now you are in a crisis. So the government now saying, "Hey, we give you a 50-year mortgage." Think about that, 50 years. That means you may have to start working when you're like 10. 10 years old, start working and retire at 60. And maybe you have your home paid off by then, huh? That's a joke. But it's a debt you're a slave to debt. You have become a slave to debt. In America, we have become slaves to debt. As African American, Black American, whatever you want to call us, we have a history of slavery. We were in physical slavery in the South, and we were in bondage. We were working for the master, and you were a slave until 1865. We were set free with the Emancipation Proclamation. Now we replace physical slavery with financial slavery. Financial slavery has become the new slave. You're a slave to the banks, slave to the cars, slave to the banks, slave to the banks, and many of us never get out of it. So I'm asking us as you begin to think about this video, think about your future. Think about the future you want for your child, for your children, for your grandkids. Think about the things, the sacrifices you have to make now. Ask the good Lord for wisdom and understanding. He'll give it to you and help you make decisions that's going to benefit you in the long run. It's going to benefit your family. But many of us have become slaves to the banks, slaves to the system, and we can never get out. But thanks be to God. If you ask for wisdom, if you ask me for wisdom, he gives it to you liberally. So ask God for wisdom and to make decisions that will help you financially. So again, I'll post the video by my man Spencer Smith. The era of debt slave is upon us. 50-year mortgages. I'll post the video link into this chat. Go watch it. It's pretty eye opening that many of us have become slaves to debt. God bless.